The story starts and we see a man named Wahab, a 40-year-old politician, is searching for the right life partner for his marriage. His biggest desire is to get married as soon as possible to strengthen his political image, especially before his upcoming election rally. Wahab is looking for only a few qualities in his life partner. She should be religious, independent, and most importantly, always stand by his side. With this goal in mind, he visits a boarding school where girls are trained with traditional life values. All the students there know that their primary purpose in life is to become an ideal wife and support their husband. Wahab asks his friend, Ustad Irfan, to find him a perfect bride. Just then, Farah, who is standing nearby, overhears their conversation and decides that she will marry Wahab, despite their significant age difference. Since childhood, Farah was taught that marriage and living with a good husband is the best way to attain heaven. Sometime later, with the help of Bhumi, Wahab and Farah get married. However, there is a hidden secret behind this marriage that no one could have imagined. One day, while Wahab is delivering a speech on the election stage, Farah proudly watches him. But suddenly, she hears someone calling her from behind. When she turns around, there is no one there. As she looks back toward the stage, her eyes widen in fear. Among the crowd, a woman dressed in black is staring directly at her. At that very moment, a woman sitting near the stage suddenly starts bleeding from her nose. As a result, everyone's attention turns toward her. But Farah notices that the woman suddenly disappears. Wahab becomes worried after seeing Farah's strange behavior and tries to calm her down. After the election event ends, they both return home. On the way, Wahab sees some of his rivals, but he is confident that he will win the election. After reaching home, Farah is in the kitchen preparing dinner, when suddenly someone places a hand on her waist from behind. She smiles and turns around, but there is no one there. She gets scared, but then convinces herself that it might have been just her imagination. After dinner, Wahab lovingly trims Farah's nails, but as soon as he cuts one, a little blood comes out. Wahab apologizes, but then silently hands over the clipped nail to their maid, Mbak. Mbak takes the nail for a special ritual. Meanwhile, the cows tied in the stable suddenly start behaving strangely. Fear and anger reflect in their eyes. Elsewhere, Farah sits in her room praying when she suddenly hears someone calling her name. She looks around but finds no one. There is a loud knock on the door. Scared, she moves toward it. But before she can open it, all the lights in the room flicker and then suddenly go out. Just then, the radio turns on by itself, playing eerie sounds. Farah rushes to turn it off, but the atmosphere in the room becomes even more terrifying. Suddenly, she collapses onto the floor. As she tries to get up, she hears a chewing sound nearby. Slowly, she moves toward the source of the sound. But then, Farah suddenly wakes up with a jolt from her sleep. She feels like she was just having a bad dream. In the morning, Wahab and Farah have to attend an important meeting. To help Farah get ready, the housemaid Mbak assists her, bathing her, applying makeup, and then waving a fragrant incense stick around Farah's head. Mbak also chants some mantras. As soon as this ritual is completed, Farah starts feeling drowsy, as if someone has pulled her soul away. After this, Wahab takes her to the meeting. But there, Farah suddenly hears a faint whisper behind her. As soon as she turns around, she sees the evil woman in a black veil. In the blink of an eye, the woman is now floating outside the window, as if she were a ghost. Farah's curiosity pulls her toward the bathroom, where she starts opening every cabin, searching for the evil woman. Suddenly, inside one of the cabins, she sees a pair of sharp horns. But when she fully opens the door, there's nothing inside. She assumes it was just her imagination. She splashes cold water on her face, but her discomfort only increases. Her closest friend, Dadina, arrives and forcibly takes her out of there. At the same time, Wahab's nose suddenly starts bleeding, and the election posters fall to the ground. Seeing all this, Farah feels something is wrong. She begins to suspect that Wahab's political rivals are using black magic to sabotage his campaign. After returning home, Farah tells Wahab that she keeps seeing an unknown woman, but Wahab dismisses it as if it's nothing new to him. Just then, loud knocking sounds come from outside, as if someone is forcefully trying to break down the door. He now tells Mbak to bring warm milk for Fa and give it to her to drink. At the same time, he asks Farah to wait in his room. As soon as Farah sits in the room, all the lights in the house suddenly go out. Panicked, she pulls back the window curtain and sees a large group of people dressed in white standing outside. She cannot understand who these people are or why they are there. The next moment, the room's door opens on its own. She rushes outside and starts looking for Wahab, but what she sees leaves her in shock. Wahab is sitting on the ground, deeply engrossed in some strange black magic. In front of him, there are numerous burning candles, and at the center lies a picture of his political rival. Terrified, Farah calls out to Wahab, but he doesn't hear her. Just then, someone from behind reaches out toward her. In the blink of an eye, Farah's eyes turn white, and her mouth opens wide. Moments later, she begins to resemble the evil woman. Without hesitation, she walks straight into the house of Wahab's political rival. Farah no longer has control over herself. She notices that her hands look terrifyingly real. Shortly after, someone informs Wahab that his political rival has died suddenly. Hearing this, Farah is left stunned. She realizes that perhaps her nightmare from the previous night had come true. Wahab and Farah attend the rival's funeral. As soon as Farah sees the dead body, she feels the ground slip from under her feet. She steps forward and begins to pray, but as soon as she opened the pages, she couldn't see a single letter. She immediately picked up another book, but in that one too, the words were slowly disappearing. The deceased family also noticed the strange behavior. Seeing this, they became angry, and Wahab immediately brought her home. When Farah's closest friend learned about all this, she felt that Farah was in some kind of trouble. She went to Farah's house to meet her, but Wahab did not allow her to come inside. As Dina was about to leave, she noticed several people gathered in Wahab's field. As she moved closer to see, a servant stopped her and said that no outsiders were allowed there. That night, while Farah was eating, she suddenly heard strange noises coming from the kitchen. When she went to check, the sounds were coming from inside the fridge. Trembling with fear, she opened the fridge door and saw a corpse wrapped in white cloth inside. Panicked, Farah screamed loudly. Hearing her scream, Mbok ran to her, but instead of helping, she grabbed Farah's hair and yanked it hard before walking away without saying a word. Farah found this very strange and decided to secretly observe her. After a while, she saw Mbok taking her cut hair to Wahab and handing it over to him. Suspicious, Farah quietly followed Mbok as she entered a hidden room, where she began using Farah's hair in some kind of black magic ritual. Suddenly, from the dark corner of the room, a shadowy figure emerged and stretched out its hand. Farah was so terrified that she covered her mouth with her hands to stop herself from screaming. She quickly took out her phone and started secretly recording the entire scene. But as soon as she began recording, the ghostly shadow appeared on her phone screen. Overcome with fear, she ran away, and as soon as she reached home, he tried to send this video from his phone to his friend. But just then, Wahab caught him, snatched his phone, and deleted the video. Enraged, he slammed Farah's phone on the ground, breaking it. Wahab had completely changed. Since childhood, Farah had been taught that a wife must obey her husband's every command, no matter what happens, and she should never go against his wishes. Out of fear, Farah stood silently with her head lowered. However, Wahab didn't know that her friend Dina had already seen the video. She tried calling Farah, but her phone was switched off. As night fell, Wahab forcefully gave Farah a glass of milk to drink. Farah knew she couldn't refuse, so she drank it silently. Within minutes, her eyes became heavy, and she felt an unusual weakness in her body. Wahab's true face was now exposed. He picked up a sharp knife and inflicted a deep cut on Farah's back, peeling off some of her skin as part of a demonic ritual. Just then, a mysterious shadow slowly appeared in the room. Meanwhile, the villagers were busy milking cows all night. The next morning, this milk was distributed throughout the village to ensure that people would vote for Wahab in the elections and help him become the village chief. Meanwhile, Farah sat alone in the house, crying. She had thought her life after marriage would be like heaven, but now it was nothing short of hell. The village elections were approaching. Wahab's biggest rival had mysteriously died, and most villagers had now started supporting him. To maintain a good image among the people, Wahab took Farah with him to the village fair as part of his campaign. Farah had no choice but to obey him. She even refused to talk to her friend Natak, as per his orders. When Dina called out to him, he ignored her. Wahab let go of Farah's hand and suddenly realized that everyone around him was looking at him with strange eyes, as if they all harbored some kind of hatred toward him. Suddenly, the same shadow appeared in front of Farah, the one that had been haunting her for days. She collapsed to the ground, and loud laughter escaped her lips. But it wasn't her own. It belonged to someone else. Just then, a school teacher and her friend Dina arrived. They quickly lifted Farah and took her to a safe room inside the school. But the terrifying events didn't end there. As soon as they laid Farah on a table, Wahab began whispering a mantra into her ear. Instantly, the color drained from Farah's face. Her terrified friend, in panic, shoved Wahab away and moved forward to check on Farah. But in the very next moment, Farah's eyes turned completely white, as if her soul had left her body. She then spoke in a chilling voice. "You have all entered my world now. No one can escape," and burst into maniacal laughter. Dina was shocked, but the teacher had some knowledge of rituals and supernatural entities. He started reciting prayers, but this time, they had no effect. 2 deep red marks appeared on Farah's back, and she now looked more powerful than any ordinary human. In a fit of rage, she forcefully pushed her friend, sending her flying across the room. Then she suddenly leaped onto Ustad. Ustad quickly chanted a special mantra over her, which briefly restored some of her memory. However, Wahab continued reciting a secret chant, disrupting the ritual. Finally, Farah collapsed to the ground. Ustad suggested keeping her at his house for the night, but Wahab was adamant that he would take Farah with him. The master reluctantly agreed, because Wahab was Farah's husband. As soon as they reached home, Wahab's true face was revealed. He started beating Farah mercilessly. The beating was so brutal that even Mbak trembled upon witnessing it. She realized that Farah was going to be sacrificed that night. Mbak's heart melted, and she quietly tried to help Farah escape. However, Wahab's men caught them, and Farah was dragged back into the same hell. Wahab took Farah to a secret dungeon and threw her onto the ground. In reality, Wahab had made a pact with a ghostly witch. If she made him the village chief, he would sacrifice his wife in return. As Wahab began preparing for the ritual, at that very moment, Farah's friend arrived to help her. Dina had discovered the exact location of the dungeon. Somehow she managed to sneak in and tried to free Farah, but just as they were about to escape, Wahab arrived and caught them red-handed. Wahab first attacked Dina and struck her on the head with a heavy vase. Wahab's eyes then fell on Farah. He cut a lock of her hair and placed it on a buffalo's head. Then he made a deep cut on his own hand and let a few drops of blood drip onto the buffalo's head. Only the final step remained. Farah, seeing all this, trembled with fear but resolved not to let Wahab succeed this time. Gathering her courage, she overturned the table. Suddenly, Wahab's face became distorted. He no longer looked human, nor did he resemble a ghost. A strange light started emanating from his eyes and his body turned into a skeletal frame. Enraged, he grabbed Farah's neck tightly. Actually, Wahab never loved Farah. He married her only to win the election. He was just about to kill her when the wounded Dina regained consciousness and grabbed Wahab's hand. But Wahab stabbed Dina in the stomach with a knife, killing her instantly. Seeing this, Farah's anger exploded. She picked up a sharp buffalo horn lying on the ground and drove it straight into Wahab's heart. Wahab writhed in pain, but it was too late. He burned to ashes in the fire of black magic. With tears in her eyes, Farah hugged her friend's lifeless body. Her marriage and entire life had been nothing less than a horrific nightmare, but now she was free. With this, the story ends here. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, and comment.